Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 8, 2018 meeting of the Brighton Town Board. I'm Brighton Supervisor Bill Maley, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here and welcome you to our meeting, whether you're watching us in person or if you're watching us on our live cablecast on Spectrum Cable Channel 1303, or streaming us live on YouTube on our link on the town's webpage. However you're participating, we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be a full participant in our meeting. If you are here in person in our room tonight, we have on the rear table our agenda and all of the supporting materials that the town board will be considering as part of the actions we're taking tonight, materials that are being received. If you are watching remotely, you can get the same information on the town's webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. We have a link to our meetings and the agendas for those meetings. And if you go to that and click on tonight's meeting, you will find all of that same material. So however you participate, it's great to have you. If you would please join me in a pledge to the flag. I'll ask Councilmember Wilt to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Every meeting begins with an open forum. It's an opportunity for the public to comment, to ask questions, whether you're here to talk about an item that is on our agenda or if you're here to talk about something else. Again, in the spirit of participating in the meeting for everyone, if you are watching remotely and want to call in with a comment to the open forum, you can call 303-3060 and someone will take your call and relay your question or your message up here. That number again, 303-3060. And if you're deaf or you're hearing impaired, we also offer an opportunity to participate in our open forum using our TDD line, and that number is 784-5205. Again, our TDD line to participate in the open forum is 784-5205. And again, however you participate, we look forward to hearing from you. I think I saw a hand going up very quickly. Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Sally Constein, and I live at 50 Ambassador Drive, and have been a resident for 37 years. Is anyone interested in helping to beautify Brighton? I would like to let the Brighton community know that the town is in the process of forming a beautification committee. It will serve as an advisory group designed to identify and address the needs and concerns many of us have regarding the town's appearance. The committee will work with the town, local businesses, and volunteers to help make this happen. The committee will consist of 5 to 7 members and will meet periodically to present recommendations to the Community Services Committee at their monthly meeting. You may already be aware of weeds and overgrowth along many of our roadways and town garden areas, as well as the rusted fire hydrants and trash receptacles, graffiti, and old worn benches. Of course, the town is stretched in many different directions, but this group would focus on these beautification needs as we look to a new and more welcoming appearance for our community. The town of Brighton has great potential to be a beautiful area for residents to be proud of and visitors to enjoy. We invite you to be a part of this process. If interested in the committee, please submit a letter of interest and a brief resume to Supervisor Bill Maley. The deadline for applications is coming up very soon. It's August 24th. There are no qualifications required, only an interest in beautifying Brighton. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Would you like to submit that to the town clerk as part of the record? Thank you for that. I would note, since the town board held a budget workshop, our first of two budget workshops this afternoon, starting at 4 o'clock. One of the items we went through as we looked at our public works commitments for the coming year is money to address some needed repairs and painting in the pergola in the 12 corners, which has been pointed out. And it's one of those things, it's very easy, unfortunately too easy, based on the number of tickets that we see written, to drive down Monroe Avenue and Elmwood quickly and not see it. But it does need some TLC. And so we have that money tentatively in the budget for next year. And but the concerns you raise and the opportunity through the committee to work collaboratively with other groups and with other funding sources is a good one. It does again reinforce the need to have sufficient ongoing tax base development in the town, both commercial and residential, in a good balance to keep the community looking as good as it can. So thank you very much for that, Sally. Mr. Jacobson.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm Howie Jacobson. Where's the public camera? I mean, where are we being filmed over there?
You're on.
Good. I'm sure. I'm Howie Jacobson. I'm a Brighton resident. I'm a third-generation Brightonian, and I'm a founding member of BrightonGrassroots.org. Brighton Grassroots was formed by residents who love this town and who became so dismayed at what we saw with the town board's handling of the Whole Foods Plaza approval process that we decided we needed to organize and let our fellow citizens know what is really going on at the town hall and to fix what is wrong before it goes too long. I have a number of points I want to raise tonight. Given the history, I'm not overly confident that you're going to listen to me, but I'm confident that I'm going to be able to get my message out. We continue to see that our voice is being ignored. So for those reasons, we're very confused as to why the voice of the developer is heard very clearly and not questioned. Therefore, we want to be on the record that we want the folks at home to know that we're on top of this issue. First, there are a number of incomprehensible decisions that this town board has made with no due diligence, no verifying, and no questioning, and simply letting the developer say what he wants. And you say, oh, fine. A good example of that is this. You may be familiar that the town has a code. You can't have monument signs, big signs in the town like this. There's a bunch that are grandfathered like this, okay? And and we know that there's signs on Monroe Avenue, there's signs Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, because we really don't want the town to end up looking like the roads look in Henrietta or Webster. No knock on them, but they have different codes. Most of these signs are 12 feet or under, and they're really in keeping with the character of Brighton, and they're really from a time long ago, because there's very little new these signs that go up. Most people may be aware that the town board approved a monument sign, but our developer has used the word monument and pylon interchangeable using the old bait and switch technique. And so what's really interesting is that because the developer has not been given any clear understanding from this board as to what is acceptable in this town. You approved this. Yet the developer really believes that they're going to be able to get their way and put up this, listing retailers, because less than a month ago, after a public hearing was held at the planning board, they submitted this. They're really confused as to what we're allowed to do in this town. See, our group does not want this in our town. This is what's going to happen, because these people are doing whatever they want here. But they're not going to be able to. They can't slip this through. It completely violates the zoning code, okay? And they think they can get away with it because they're used to having the codes misused. So they're in a habit. And I understand you didn't approve these big signs, but they're testing the waters. And you already told them they couldn't do that. At least that's what it looks like in the 900 some odd pages of reading without pictures. So there's numerous issues like this, but this application is filled with surprises. Many residents at home don't realize that earlier this year, on the eve of the incentive zoning approval, the developer did something similar to this and put in a second traffic light. Pew! It just shows up. No further study. You didn't say, geez, we really got to take a look at that. No reasonable opportunity for the public to comment. You made a decision. They're not the boss, these people. The residents of the town have a voice that needs to be heard. But it doesn't end there, because traffic is really a big issue, and I really should say excessive traffic, because this project was allowed to go through incentive zoning. It's a clever approach, and it's used by a number of communities. I'm very familiar with it. I was on the zoning board in Canandaigua. I'm familiar with the concept. It bypasses a very capable ZBA process. There are a number of loose ends that the town did not do their due diligence on. You did not verify. You did not question. I went through the notes. I came to meetings. You don't ask any questions. Most people don't realize this, but this is not about Whole Foods. Everybody talks about, and your notes are all about Whole Foods. It's not about Whole Foods. It's a plaza. There's going to be 18 to 20 stores. Or there could be more because they're continually moving this around. It's got a drive-through Starbucks that's very close to the road that is really weird from a traffic perspective, but that's just me. Possibly two or three more restaurants, because the developer's putting in stuff pretty quick, because next week the planning board is going to probably close the public hearing, so they're jamming in lots of stuff. They're probably going to have 2 or 3 more restaurants. They're in their plan. I'm not making it up, and I could bring documents to show you. Many residents don't realize this. It's not about Whole Foods. On that site are going to be 18 to 20 retailers. Whew. And even Whole Foods Market is not the grocery store that in your responses make us all feel like, oh, there's nowhere to shop. We have nowhere to buy food in Brighton. We got plenty of places to buy food. Whole Foods is not a grocery store. It's only one part of it. If you did your diligence, you would have found out what Whole Foods is going to do on this site. But I know no one probably asked. I don't know how many of you visited the store in Buffalo. I don't know how many of you have really done your diligence other than what the developer has told you. I can tell you quite easily because it's all public record, and it didn't happen yesterday. Since Whole Foods was bought by Amazon, the business model has changed. I got some documents to leave with you so you can freshen your memory bank and also educate yourselves. It's not a grocery store. It's going to have Amazon lockers. It's going to have an Amazon pickup and delivery center. And you can say, well, that doesn't make any sense because they deliver to our homes. They're getting a lot of complaints because people don't like packages being dropped off at their house, being left for 2 or 3 days. They got a great solution. I think it's awesome. I'm a marketing guy. You can just go there and pick up your packages. Awesome. And I could also drop them off. While you're there, we'll give you 10% off your food purchase. Okay. But we know this now. And what's really, really got me, you knew this before. Now, if you didn't know it before, okay, you don't read and you're waiting for the experts to tell you. Wow. If you're listening to the developer tell you what he thinks is going on at Amazon, Prime, Whole Foods, he's only telling you what's going on at Whole Foods grocery store. It's going to be a delivery center. It's going to be a combination of UPS, FedEx, the post office, and Amazon Prime. I'm not making this stuff up. I really kind of wish I was. The reason that Whole Foods is going to be bigger, 50,000 square feet here, versus the typical pre-Amazon Whole Foods store of 20 to 35,000, is they're putting all this stuff in there. The developer by code can build a 20,000 square foot grocery store, and that'll allow us to have a place to buy food. Well, that's great. What are you going to do? Tell Amazon when they come back here, oh, you can't have a delivery service in there. Sorry. They're going to say, what, are you kidding? This is our business. Well, you can't put a pub and a restaurant in there. You can't serve beer. You can't do this. You can't do that. That's what you're going to tell them? Of course not. Well, it's going to add a lot of traffic, but what are we going to do? I know what you're going to do. You're going to fix it now. We already know about it, and it's not new. We want a study that you can say, well, you can't do anything about it. It's okay. You're the town officials. Okay? Another blatant failure to ask questions. The developers stood in front of you and the planning board with a straight face, with their engineers, their experts. There's only going to be 2 truck deliveries a day. I mean, that's it. There's not going to be a truck issue. This store, Whole Foods, they only get 2 trucks a day. One comes around 6 to 7 in the morning. One comes before 1 in the afternoon. So there's no issue. It's hard for me to believe. Then they say the other, 18 retailers and all the other buildings, they only get occasional trucks, okay? And they're going to go in the front door. They're going to make their deliveries. Really? These people obviously don't have shopping plazas. Part of what I do. How do these people know this? You don't think that a truck is going to drive in the back? You don't think there's going to be 35 to 40 trucks a day? Oh, the developer even made statements to the Times that these trucks are going to come. And you guys sit there, yeah, I guess that's okay. They're the experts. They're not. What really is pathetic to me, you may not know this. I'm here to educate. In Brighton, New York, the town we live in, there's a 55,000 square foot grocery store. Have you ever talked to anybody at Tops? You've interviewed the managers, talked to the people that own Tops? I know you don't have to give me, I know you can't answer me. The people of Brighton should be asking you, did you ever go over there and talk to anybody? I have. I went over there, I'm curious. Meet with them. So what goes on here? You guys probably have 55,000 square foot grocery store. You probably get maybe 2 trucks a day. The guy says to me, what do you mean 2 trucks a day? Okay? We get 12 to 14 trucks a day on average. And then on some days we get the beer trucks that come in. Yeah, but they're like little tiny trucks, right? They're like little vans. They come they hold like 3 cases of beer. The guy said, what are you kidding? They're big bay trucks. Wow. And they come here all the time. Yeah. You talk to this, anybody ever talk to the Starbucks people? In Clover and Monroe, we have a Starbucks in Brighton. Ever talk to the manager there, the guy that runs the region? Ever ask them how many delivery trucks and the problems that they have getting the big trucks in there? They don't have little mini Coopers that deliver to them. Look at the plan that these people submitted. You can't get a delivery truck the way the Whole Foods, the way the Starbucks site is developed. But I guess nobody asks questions here because you expect the experts. And maybe you don't view this as running a business, but you're running a business for us, the residents. That's how I look at it. I don't want 2 or 3 more restaurants on that site. These people are stretching, and it's going to stop because we're not going to be ignored. Let's talk a little bit about the amenities. Wow, you guys wanted to do incentive zoning so bad, so okay, we're doing amenities. So here's some great examples. The town simply believes that without doing any questioning or diligence, and maybe it did a little, okay, because there's a lot of paperwork, and I'm not a great reader. The developer claims they're going to give $906,000 in amenities. Now, some people could say they're going to give $1.7 million. Okay. A national accounting firm determined that the value of the incentives that you are giving to those developers is $17 million. I'm not making it up. Well, I look at that and it's like, well, there's about 16 million that's not, where does that 16 million go? And you guys decided, and women, you decided, oh, we're just letting it go. You know, we really don't need it because it's not that important to the town. I got to tell you something. $16 million, you'd build a new rec center. You'd buy probably 4 new fire trucks. You'd fix a lot of the roads. And what they just talked about, beautification, this town would be unbelievably beautiful. So what happened to the 16 million? Something's wrong here. So also, their $906,000 or $1.7 million, did you ever think to ask a question, how did you come up with the number? Maybe we ought to take a look at it? But I guess you don't do that. I'm learning I'm learning a little bit. I don't know much how this operates here. But man, you need to be curious. You need to ask people to go back and do something. So I've been doing a lot of reading. I could have brought all these pages in. It's fascinating, okay, how many pages of reading that you have had to do on this project over 3 years and how little you've listened to the community. But you talk a lot about taxes. It's really, really important. I mean, this is big. Well, it's continually said that we're going to bring in $400,000 in extra property taxes to the town. It's totally misleading. What are you assuming? Nothing is going to get built there? If the developer built to the town code, we would receive substantial tax revenue. But by allowing him to build an oversized plaza, which will ruin Monroe Avenue, the town will get a little bit more in taxes. But what will happen to the town is a mess. But you're assuming that the developer is going to get taxed at the proper tax rate. I don't know why, but I'll get to that in a minute. You're talking about taxes, really, really
Mr.
important.
Jacobson, I do want to share, you've been up here for about 15 minutes now, and
It's been
we
24 minutes.
do give everyone the opportunity to speak.
I will finish quickly.
And I
I'll
know
wrap
you've
up.
got printed, written comments there, and you're welcome to submit them to.
Thank you. Let me finish up a few more minutes. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was time bounded. At the planning board, they let you talk. While I'm talking about taxes, why does this developer get a special tax assessment? Every person watching and everybody here, and does everybody here live in Brighton? I'm assuming you do. You probably got a reassessment of your taxes. Your tax bill went up. It's really interesting because this developer bought a piece of property for $7 million. $7 million in 2014. It's on the tax things. No tax increase. How could that be? I bought a home here, 2015. I paid more than the assessed value. Bang. My taxes went up to what I paid. These people are leaving $125,000 on the table that you deserve to get for us if you're so concerned about taxes. So, my assessment went up, so did everybody else in this room. Make these people pay $126,408. I don't have no idea why you're letting them get away with that. I'm going to try to finish quickly because I want to be sympathetic to your ask. You keep asking about, oh, there's no other choice. What do? We have to have a big oversized plaza. No, we don't. No, we don't. Let them build to proper size. It's very simple. It's mind-boggling to me. And the community has come out numerous times, but I also want to say one thing. You are allowing, okay, and have allowed this developer to manipulate the codes back of his property where the Auburn Trail is. And all of a sudden, like a miracle, it's like, oh, they want to make sure the Auburn Trail's okay. You should see the plans that they just submitted, okay? Trucks are going to be driving over the preferred path, okay, where people are going to be walking with strollers. You allowed this same developer to build illegal parking spots and profit off them. for years until the neighborhood group threatened to sue the town. They paved over 20 spots. They only paved them over so they could have people go to the restaurant and eat. That means they made money. That means they owe us more money for taxes. We should charge them when they did that. So I'm going to wrap up because I'm going to be sensitive. I don't want to go too much longer. You've been listening to this issue for 3 years. Now the planning board is going to have to be listening to it. And you could do the right thing. You could still fix this because you're our town officials. I encourage everybody here to go to brightongrassroots.org. Even you, learn and stay informed with what's going on here. You could fix this. We don't want to be ignored anymore because we're not going to be. We're going to keep informing the citizens of what's going on here, the misuse of an important review process. It's not that difficult. I didn't even know about how difficult this was going to be, okay, until 3 months ago. You have forced me to read all these documents, and it's unbelievable, and I'm uneducated, and I ask people questions. I've met with a half a dozen engineering firms in Western New York. I'm asking questions. You're like, well, wow, you know, I have a job just like you do. Everybody here has a full-time job, I think, okay? It's hard, but you were given a responsibility by us, the residents. You report to us. I would expect you to hear us and make decisions that reflect what you hear. Now, I'm done. Thank you very much. I have some handouts which I think are really, really important because I don't think you know about this stuff. I don't think you know what Whole Foods is doing or Amazon Prime is doing. So I want to make sure you're educated, even though it's a little late, but it really isn't because it's never going to be too late because you really are the town officials. You're the town board. Thank you very much. It's okay if I hand these out? Sure.
I'm going to be very brief in responding to that because I do respect the right of all people to make presentations to the board. And in particular, because Brighton Grassroots LLC, limited liability company, has sued the town, I'm going to be somewhat, I don't want to get into issues that may be relevant to litigation, but
Supervisor, if I may,
Yep.
Because this organization does have pending litigation, which is actively pending, with motions currently being briefed and before a Supreme Court judge, I would recommend, although you may disagree with much of what Mr. Jacobson said, that at this time, on behalf of the town, that no statement be made, because
Yeah,
it is a
and-
matter of
and-
pending
And I just
litigation.
want to correct one thing, because you spoke about a sign, and you spoke about a sign on various social media outlets, and you made a statement that the town board had approved a 22-foot high sign, and I want it to be very clear to the community that that was not an accurate statement. I know you did not quite say that tonight, you suggested, but what the town board has approved is a sign that is 7 by 7 feet inside, on size, on a pedestal, 49 square feet. The town board's incentive zoning approval called for a maximum of 100 square feet, 50 feet on each side. So that sign is consistent, and a 22-foot high, or however high some other sign is, would not be, let me be clear, has not been approved by the town board, will not be approved by the town board. And other than that, you're right, Ken, regardless of the accuracy or lack thereof of many of the statements, thank you very much for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening?
I would actually like to make an additional comment.
Thank you. Because I think I know what you're going to say.
I did not vote on that matter because I have recused myself from that matter
because of my husband's beneficial relationship with one of the proposed tenants of the project.
Thank you. Correct. Okay, we will move on, unless there's someone else that would like to address the board during the open forum. Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the materials that were submitted by our two speakers in the open forum?
So moved.
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Can I have a motion to approve and file town board meeting minutes for June 27th, July 11, and the July 25th town board meetings?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Can I have a motion to receive and file communications?
So moved.
Second.
We have 3 items of, well, actually now we have 5 items of communication, 2 that were submitted, the 3 that we had before. The first one relates to the retirement of Police Sergeant David Molisani. And Sergeant Molisani has served the town for
Almost 30 years.
almost 30 years.
Wow.
And David will be retiring effective August 18, 2018, and we are, as really speaking on behalf of all the residents of the town, we're grateful for Sergeant Molisani's service and really the service of all of our police officers. Last night was our annual police open house. We had families coming in. It's great to see the kids. The kids really enjoy getting in the police cars, the other vehicles, the ambulance and everything else. But every single person in our department, including Sergeant Molisano, performs such important functions, and we're sorry to see him. We're happy for him. We're always happy when someone moves on to that retirement stage, but we're sorry to see him go. We also have a communication on behalf of an organization, Rocktricity, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is an offshoot of the Rochester People's Climate Coalition, and with that correspondence are signatures and questionnaires collected from a number of Brighton residents relating to preferences on sourcing electricity. And we appreciate hearing that information. And finally, I alluded earlier to our budget process and our capital improvement plan. We have communication from our Sustainability Oversight Committee. Our Sustainability Oversight Committee is a volunteer group that advises the town on a number of issues relating to sustainability. Sustainability is a topic we have talked a lot about lately as we complete our comprehensive plan, but it's also a topic that we discuss every year as we prepare our budget, and particularly as we prepare our capital improvement plan. Because we make significant investments in equipment, we make investments in processes, and having the input of experts who really can provide us with some background information and some opportunities to make what we do, how we spend our money, that we do so in a way that promotes the sustainability objectives that we share. And so what we are receiving tonight is their annual written report concerning our capital improvement plan as it relates to sustainability objectives for the town. So we have a motion to receive and file those 3 items as well as the other 2. Any other comments? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Committee reports, community services, Robin.
Thanks, Bill. Community Services Committee meeting, the Community Services Committee has not convened since our last town board meeting. Our next meeting will be next Wednesday, August 15th at 9:30 a.m. at the Brookside School, 220 Idlewood Road. As always, members of the public are welcome to attend.
Thank you. Jason, Finance?
Yes, the Finance Committee met on Wednesday, August 1st. In addition to the continued review of our CIP, each of the other items that we discussed will appear on the agenda, except one matter was tabled. There was a request for a budget transfer for funds needed to purchase a mobile column vehicle lift. The FAST discussed with Mike Guyon the request from Tim Anderson for town board action to transfer funds within the Highway D fund totaling $12,931 to allow for the purchase of a mobile lift rather than a fixed lift. It was determined that due to some infrastructure issues in the garage area, the mobile unit was a better solution than a traditional lift. After discussion, some questions were asked and more research and follow-up is needed. So the item will be placed on a future FAST meeting for further discussion and review, and then, if necessary, on our town board agenda for a vote. Our next meeting will be held on Wednesday, August 15th. We will be meeting at 8:30 in the morning here at Town Hall in the Stage Conference Room, and the public is invited to attend.
Thanks, Jason. I think I was remiss earlier on. I want to make sure everybody knows how to get out of here safely in case of an emergency. If you hear a very loud emergency alarm, you'll know it when you hear it. Please exit the room and exit the building as quickly as possible. You don't have to do that now, but either through the door to my right, marked with the exit sign. If you go out that way, turn right, go down the stairs, out the rear entrance of Town Hall and away from the building. Or you can leave by either one of the two double doors in the rear of this room, go through the lobby, out the main front door of Town Hall, down the steps, and again, away from the building. Good segue to the Public Safety
All right.
Committee. Jim?
Public Safety Committee will meet next Tuesday, that'll be August 14th, at 8 a.m. in the lower level community meeting room.
Thank you. And like all of those meetings, the public is welcome.
Is invited.
And it's a
all.
great opportunity. Again,
Absolutely.
we've got our
Absolutely.
safety agencies
Yeah.
there, and it's good.
An open meeting.
Thanks, Jim. Public Works.
Yes, the Public Works Committee met yesterday morning, and actually, I don't have a report. I did share in Councilman Werner's absence, but I don't have a report to give.
I can expand on it if you want. Check your email too. I just sent you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So
Or
it's-
we can do it at the next
that'll work.
meeting, either way.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah, okay. And the next
Here it is,
meeting,
5:30. All right.
and the next meeting of the Public Works Committee is?
It will be in September, if you give me one moment. We meet on Tuesday, September 4th. That's the day after Labor Day at 9 o'clock in the morning in the lower level meeting room here at Town Hall.
Great.
Great.
Thanks, sir. And I'll stay with you for the reading and approval of claims.
Yes, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $257,507.62. Notable claims include to Rochester Asphalt Materials in the amount of $22,858.63, representing asphalt for paving and patching projects. And on a related note, to Midland Asphalt Materials for $2,093 for tack coat for paving. Also to Bears Management Group in the amount of $4,708 for purchase of mulch and wood chips for the various park playgrounds. And also to the Office of the State Comptroller in the amount of $35,401.50, representing the portion of the state and county fees collected by our town court. The town kept, of the amounts collected by the court for the month of July, we kept $17,646. The rest gets remitted to the state for sharing with the county. And also to the U.S. Postmaster in the amount of $3,000, representing postage for mailing of the fall recreation brochure. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
I'll defer
Any
to Robin.
discussion on that? Oh, you'll defer to Robin?
I
Robin
will.
it is. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Jim?
Next item is the approval to appropriate $6,000 from forfeited property account, for the purchase of 2 portable Rivoli radar speed signs and bidirectional traffic data collection units. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Mark?
So this proposal is a budget neutral proposal. Quite often we hear from neighborhoods about the speed problems in their neighborhood. We have some devices that we put out that offer instant feedback. This particular device is mobile. It not only will provide real-time feed data to the driver, it'll also give us a dashboard of analytics so that we can utilize it from a traffic calming perspective. So there's been some changes in the use of seized assets. Contacted Department of Justice. This is an appropriate fund, appropriate expenditure, and it would be my recommendation that we utilize it and use it as part of our traffic enforcement measures.
Thanks, Mark. I know how important we hear about speed as much as we hear about anything, and I appreciate your making this investment to, speed isn't all about writing tickets. We want to encourage drivers in Brighton. We want people to be conscious of how fast they are driving. We want people to be aware of the people around them, pedestrians, cyclists, students who will be going back to school before long. I know you're going to be working on that as well.
Yeah, you drivers, I know we have one more meeting, and I'll try to report out to the board what our plans are for the fall. But we are going to relaunch a pedestrian safety initiative, both in enforcement and an education component. We'll put some signs out first part of September to remind drivers that this is a heavily pedestrian area, but I'll have more for that later.
Thanks. And hopefully people will see these signs as they see the signs that are currently on Elmwood and slow down voluntarily.
Very similar, but these guys are a little bit more, they'll let you know in bright red letters and tell you that you're violating the law, and they'll compliment you when you're following the law, so.
We have a motion and a second to make this appropriation. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Robin?
The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into agreements for professional services for 2 veterinarians at $60 an hour each and 2 veterinary technicians at $25 an hour each for the services to be performed on Saturday, October 6, 2018 at the annual rabies clinic. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
This is an event we do each year, and no change in...
A long-standing event. I think in years past I've been asked to track the demographics of the participants. We seem to get a large east side of the county response, which is great. It's our part of helping out with the rabies control. So,
Yep. Thank you. Motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Jason?
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to approve change order number 2 with SpinRite in the amount of $1,167.85 for the 2017 sidewalk repair project and amend the 2018 budget for Consolidated Sidewalk District to appropriate said amount from fund balance. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
And the dates you heard were correct. This does relate back to the 2017 district sidewalk projects. It really closes out the work that was done that year. Quantities, can vary slightly. Thickness of the concrete, for example, they pour a thicker bed of concrete on a driveway when they're paving a sidewalk through a driveway than they do just across, in front of someone's front lawn. So it's those details that are trued up with this final amendment to the 2017 sidewalk project. Unspent funds were felt a fund balance were reappropriated for 2018, and this will close that year's project out. So we have a motion and a second. Further discussion, anyone? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Why don't you do the next one too, Jason?
Yep, the next one seeks to authorize the supervisor to extend contract with Waste Management of New York to continue to provide refuse and recycling services to our refuse districts for an increased unit price of 2.12%, paren $208.04 to $212.45 annually. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
And this is a slight increase. This is for our refuse districts, still far less than the sort of rec rate
Oh my gosh,
that Waste Management would charge. And I believe this is the final renewal year of the Waste Management Agreement. We actually, one of the things we discussed at the last Public Works Committee meeting were some changes that I want to put on the table when we negotiate the next agreement for our refuse districts, in particular some discussion of composting as an opportunity, whether through the same vendor as does our traditional refuse service, or opening it up to another vendor as an option in a district if there are people that are interested in that, and also some discussion on recycling rather than in open small bins in toters, which have been proven to significantly increase recycling participation and volume, as well as keeping a lid on materials so they don't blow around the neighborhood, particularly in winter weather. So, but that's for a future year. This is simply the extension for 2019. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Robin?
The next matter seeks to authorize the appointment of Ms. Lisa Diaz to part-time office clerk 4 at the reception desk, effective on or about August 9, 2018. I move on the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Dan, do you want to address this?
Yeah, well, this, Lisa would be replacing Brenda Northrup, who had retired at the end of May. Longtime employee here. Interviewed a number of people after reviewing an extraordinarily large number of resumes that came in. A little worrisome for the overall economy, given the number of people looking in this particular position. But I think Lisa stood out amongst those I interviewed, and I'd like to extend her the offer.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll, Dan.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Jason?
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the preparation of bid documents for tree maintenance and removal services for the town of Brighton for the remainder of the 2018 calendar year, with the option to renew the contract for one additional calendar year 3 times.
Let's stop right there on the description of this matter. And can I have a second on that?
Second.
It's a long
Yeah, long description.
long description. So, are there any questions? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, I do want to remind the community that the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative will be holding a town hall meeting right here in this room on August 14th at 6 p.m. If you are interested in learning more about the work of RMAPI, the Rochester Monroe Area Anti-Poverty Initiative, that's an opportunity to hear the work and truly multidisciplinary work that they're doing, and really going forward, the important role that the town of Brighton and Brighton residents may be able to play in addressing what is the crisis of poverty in our community, particularly, but not exclusively, in our urban core. So I certainly want to encourage people to attend that. I also want to thank Mike Ramsey and your team, our consultants, and especially the people that came out the other evening for our fourth public information meeting on the Town of Brighton Comprehensive Plan. The Comprehensive Plan update is something we do periodically on about a 10 to 12 year cycle, and it is intended to be a 10 to 12 year roadmap looking forward for our community as a whole. Not individual projects, but big picture, 30,000 foot important policy discussions. And this cycle, for the first time, because of the nature of the state grant funding that we received from NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research and Development Agency, this project does have a particular focus on sustainability and connections that we can establish and build upon in the community as we look at our land use planning for the future to make the community a more sustainable, a more stronger community. I think anybody that has walked on the Brickyard Trail or some of our other trails here in Brighton sees the impact of connectivity. And I had the opportunity to, begin to take a look at some of the comments that people had, but really I want to commend you, Mike, and everybody involved in the process. This current draft plan is I think, an excellent overview of where we need to go, a roadmap. I like to use the term a roadmap because it is truly a roadmap for decisions that we'll be making as a community and people who come after us will be making as a community. The public comment period remains open, and I believe that we will be taking public comments until 5 p.m. next Monday, the 13th. The plan is available on the town website, a link to it, or envisionbrighton.org. That's all one word, envisionbrighton.org. And I do want to encourage people, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, please do. Please comment. Please ask questions. It is not finished, but we are in the home stretch. The Citizen Committee, and they are an important part of who has made the work go so well. Frank Scaramamano and the other volunteers on that committee have worked hard. They were here in the building at 7:30 yesterday morning, I think that was.
This morning.
Oh, that was this time. Flies when you're having fun. This morning at 7:30. It has been a long day.
Yeah.
To follow up on that meeting, they will be reporting a draft plan out to the town board. The town board will hold a public hearing on that plan probably in September. Date still to be determined. But if I were a betting man, I would guess the second town board meeting in September. And that will be an opportunity to review the final changes to the draft and adopt that plan or consider any amendments going forward as the comprehensive plan for the town of Brighton. It could be the first meeting in September. I think maybe that's we'll see. One of the meeting is in September. So stay tuned for that. But that is an important work, and we really appreciate that so many people came out on a hot August night to give us their input. So thank you. Matters of the attorney to the town. Matters of the clerk.
Well, nothing this evening.
Matters of the board.
Have a few updates from our rec department. Our summer camps are wrapping up this week. There's still a few end of the summer offerings available to those who are interested. Please do contact the recreation department for more information. Brochures are available online at Brighton Central School District buildings, within the town hall, at Brighton Memorial Library, and at the Brookside Recreation Center. In addition to that, our fall brochures will be available online next week, and we talked earlier about the postage for those brochures, so you should be seeing them in your mailboxes soon. Registration for Brighton residents begins at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 4th. Non-resident registration will begin at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 11th. Just a reminder that registration is required for programs through the Brighton Recreation Department, and space is limited. Registration may be done online, by mail, or in person at the Recreation Department. Please do make sure you check out all of our offerings at www.townofbrighton.org/rec. The Brighton Town Hall pool is now open, but not for much longer. Our season will end August 17th. That is next week, Friday, the last day. Again, the hours are Monday through Thursday, 12:30 to 7:30 p.m., Friday through Sunday, 12 to 6 p.m., and there is a nominal fee, $3 for Brighton resident per person and $6 per non-resident per person. Season pass, if you really want that this season, is available for $40 for Brighton residents only. And another reminder to join us at the Summer Farmers Market on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Brighton High School parking lot, 1150 Winton Road South. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary and have a number of entertainment options and different vendors, and it's a fun time for the community, so please do come out. And finally, our summer concert series is ongoing on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Buckland Park Pavilion at 1341 Westfall Road. This week, we're thrilled to have the Breakfast Club, an 80s tribute band, join us for our last concert on Tuesday, August 14th. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Robin. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointment of particular people?
So moved. Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vogel?
Aye?
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Our next town board meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight, August 22nd, 7 p.m. Have a great evening, everybody.